Your first investment property is the most difficult one. Lack of experience, not much confidence, and so many question marks in your head. I have a clear method that will make the entire process much easier. Stay tuned to discover how it works. If I can change my life, so can you. Subscribe to my channel and I show you how. My name is Fabrizio Cravero and this channel is all about property investment for the UK and overseas investors. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe. We are going to create a community of investors that grows together. Look, I created a very simple and easy to follow process to lead you all the way to getting your first investment property. And stay until the end of the video because I will share with you a lot of free resources for you to succeed. To buy an investment property is completely different than buying your own home. When you decide where to live, you let your emotions influence your decision. But when we are talking about investment property, it's all about numbers and having a clear end in mind. There are so many factors to consider, and that's why I created this Monopoly board. Look, I divided the process into 4 different phases: planning, finding, buying, and holding. Each phase has its mini steps, and by going through each point one by one, you will buy your first investment property knowing that it will put money in your pocket every single month. Everything starts by having a clear goal in mind. I believe that ideally, as investor, the best way to create wealth through property is by buying properties that are below market value. Then we should add value to it and making sure that the tenant cover all the costs, including the mortgage, and still generating a steady cash flow in order to get paid while you wait for the capital appreciation. All this by leveraging other people's time and expertise. What do you think? Will you be happy to find this type of properties? Let me guide you through the process. The next step is to decide what is the best structure to use to invest. There are mainly 2 options. You can invest either under personal name or under a limited company. To answer this question, you need to know whether you are planning to buy 1 or 2 properties only, or you want to create a portfolio of properties, and if you are going to use a mortgage to do it. Of course, you need to consult an accountant, but the general rule of thumb is that if you just want to buy a couple of properties and maybe by using cash, then probably under a personal name can be better. But if you want to buy more properties and you are planning to use a mortgage to do it, then the limited company is probably the best option. So, the second point is to contact an accountant, specialized in property investment and having a good chat together. Next, you need to know the strategy you're going to use. In the UK, you can buy a property and rent it out to a single family. In this case, we are talking about the buy-to-let strategy. But there are also more advanced strategies, like the HMO, for example, house in multiple occupation, where you will have more than one tenant. Then we have the social housing, service accommodation, and other strategies. It is a good thing to have options, but honestly, I suggest you to get started with the basics first. And the buy-to-let is the easiest strategy, and when done properly, it will award you a lot. That's my favorite strategy as well. The majority of my portfolio is based on buy-to-lets. Let's move on to the next point now, which is to pick the investment area. This is super important. The UK is so different. You can find very expensive area with a strong capital growth but low returns, and cheaper places with very high yield. Honestly, I believe that a good investment property has to have a mix of both. A good capital growth potential as well as good yields. Check this video here after this one to check the different area and the performances. And to help you with this task, I analyze in depth 22 main UK cities under the investor point of view, including the average prices, average yields, and the past 5 years performances for each postcode. Just check the link in the description below and you can get all the 22 guides for free. And one thing I must say, no matter where you live, you can invest anywhere in the UK. If you live in London, you can also invest in Liverpool. You live in Manchester, you can invest in Birmingham. You live overseas like me, you can invest in UK properties from Hong Kong, Singapore, Dubai. No matter where you live, you can safely invest in UK properties. We are in 2021. The technology is so advanced that everything can be checked from wherever you live in the world. Just be open-minded and use a team of professionals in the area that you are planning to invest. Property investment is all about having the end goal in mind. Ask yourself, who is going to be your tenant? What type of accommodation does he want? I suggest you to spend time knowing your tenant and tailor-made the property for him. Let's say you are planning to rent your property to a family, maybe with kids. Then a 2-3-bedroom house in this case, close to good schools and good transportation, maybe a bus or train stop nearby, that's what a family is looking for. So you understand what I mean. Think about the tenant you want and plan the refurb according to their needs as well. No gold taps for someone that can afford to pay £700 a month maximum, for example. So, now that you plan everything and you know exactly what type of property you want and where it should be located, it is now time to move on to the next stage, which is the finding phase. As I said at the beginning of the video, as an investor, you should be looking for below market value properties and then add value to them in order to maximize the returns. Usually, property can be below market value either because of the property or because of the owner. The easiest way I can explain it is, you should be looking to buy a property that is old and needs to be renovated by someone that is planning to relocate, for example. There is a chance to add value to old properties that need a refurb, and someone that needs to relocate urgently, he may be willing to sell for a slightly cheaper price in exchange for a quick completion. There are two options here. You can either look for this type of properties yourself, or you can appoint specialized agents in investment properties. In my case, because I'm based here in Hong Kong, I usually use property agent. But if you are based in the UK and you may have time available, you may be finding yourself as well. And fantastic! Now you maybe found the perfect first investment property, but I'm showing you how to become a real investor, not an amateur one. So the key is due diligence. Check the area if it meets the criteria that I mentioned earlier, and check the numbers. Because not necessarily the property agent is giving you the exact correct figure. It's up to you to check it. And once again, there is a free resource for you. Check the deal analyzer that I prepared, subscribe to the channel and type DA in the comment below. My team will contact you and will give you free access to my personal deal analyzer. And I'm so excited to share with you that I'm about to launch my property portal. No matter where in the UK you are looking to invest, I got you covered. I put together a great team of property agents specialized in investment properties, and I also created a course where I will show you how to safely invest in a very profitable UK properties from overseas as well. And now we are getting there. The next phase of buying your first investment property is the buying process. Let me summarize it now for you. First, you place an offer on the property. Once the offer is accepted, you appoint a solicitor and a surveyor. And if you buy it with a mortgage, you should talk with the mortgage broker and start the application. This is the team that will lead you through the acquisition of your first property. And after you go through the buying process, well done! You officially own an investment property. Congratulations! But it's not over. This property will be a liability until you get a tenant. So it's time to find a good team of builders for the refurb, and most probably followed by a project manager, unless you have the knowledge and time to do it yourself. And same can be said for the letting agent. Find a good letting agent that finds a tenant for you and especially that goes through the legal part of the tenancy. There are a lot of regulations to be followed and a good letting agent is what you need to make sure you are following everything according to the law. This is how to hold the property over the long term. And now, if you follow all the steps one by one, you can just sit back and relax. Check your bank statement and enjoy the passive income every month. As you can see, there is a bit of work at the beginning, but once that is done correctly, this property will be your ATM machine. It will keep on giving you money for the rest of your life. Of course, you might have some void period as you change tenant, some repair and maintenance to do, but everything should be taken into consideration before even buying the property by creating a contingency fund. That's what I always talk about in this channel. I constantly show you how to go through the detailed due diligence and act like a real professional property investor. If you set up everything correctly, this can be the foundation of a new stream of income for you and for your future generations. So, becoming wealthy is like playing Monopoly. The person who can accumulate more assets wins. If you want to learn how to invest in high demand area in a very profitable properties, attend the free training that I'm going to release soon. There is a link in the description below where you can register and you will be the first to be informed when I open the application. And that's all for now. Remember, invest with knowledge, create financial freedom, and I'll see you in the next video.